All right, so I think the next thing that I want to look at is getting, let's reset this, is getting this little wall in here. I do want to get these statues in here and then get a new shader assigned to this. And then I want to create 3D models for this structure and this structure. And then I'm thinking about just trying cards for everything else and seeing how that works. But we'll see. That's kind of where my brain is at right now. And yeah, let's just see how it goes. So first things first, I want to get this wall in here, and then I want to get a another shader created for our backing version. So let's go ahead and drop in another cube, and let's do that same process we've been doing. So let's go to our move tool, hold D as in dog and V as in Victor, and move our pivot point to the bottom. Let go of D as in dog and V as in Victor, and let's click X and drag that onto the ground plane. And then let's go ahead and open up our hypershade. And again, we want to assign this shader, so we want to make sure we're middle mouse dragging that shader onto that. And then let's go ahead and drag that out to about here. And let's turn on our camera view real quick. Yeah, because that wall seems like it's going to be about lined up with that. So I want to get both cameras working. So if we come here to this little icon right here and click that, that'll give me two camera views, right? So I have a menu, perspective, menu, and then this says I'm looking out of front C. So let's change this one to Proj Cam 1. Everything's black, so I'm going to click 6 in this viewport. And then I'm going to hover my mouse over there. I'm going to pull this over just a little bit. And I want to turn on the wireframe on shaded view. And then let's pull this over. So let's see what we can see. So if we pull this over to about there, and then let's zoom in with this camera. Let's go ahead and click this until it's wedged again, since I wasn't in here working consistently. I took a break, so I need to reset all that stuff up. Also looks like I'm going to need to fix the height of the bridge right there, but we'll do that in a minute. Okay, let's see what we got going on. Looks like that's not matching the water perfectly. Let's see what would happen. I don't want to mess this up too much. Let me see. Yeah, it actually looks like our water plane is down there. Let's see. So let's click F. See what we can see. So I think we're going to need to go below our ground plane a hair. So let's do this. I'm going to right click and go to vertex mode. I'm going to pull that down a bit. Okay. And I'm going to do that for each one of these. So I'm going to go to this guy, vertex mode, pull that down. I'm going to hold X as an Xavier. I'll snap it to those. Let's turn this on. So let's hold X as an Xavier. I got those vertices selected, and I'll just aim for those. Cool. And so we're going to do this for each one of these. I think this just needs to be dropped down a bit. Hold X as an Xavier, grab this top arrow, and then just kind of reference the other set of points. And same thing here. Vertex mode, grab those, hold X, and grab that top arrow and just reference that other set of points. Okay. Then I think we need to do the same thing here. Vertex. So this isn't matching our world ground plane, but that's okay. We'll make it work. Okay. So the same thing. I'm just grabbing those vertices on the bottom, and again, the way you do that is you just hold X, you grab that arrow, and then you go like, say, I want it to be as low as like those points or something like that. Okay. I think we're also going to need to do that for the wall. So I'm going to come to an angle like this. Right click and go to vertex mode, and let's get all those bottom vertices. So if I just drew a big box and I'm just double checking that I got them all, and it looks like I did. So same process. I'm going to hold X as an Xavier, and I'm going to, V as in Victor, and I'm going to reference those points. So, all right, cool. So now we want to set this cube. Hold V as in Victor, and we're going to set this kind of as like our new ground plane. Okay, so from here, let's go ahead and come back to our proj cam, and let's set all that back to 0, tab 0, and 1. Okay, and now if I move that back here a bit, and let's zoom in again. Now if I click and look at that, I think that's going to work a bit better. We might still be a hair higher than our water plane, but that's okay because we're going to create our own digital water. So I just want that to be roughly matched up right like here. Okay. So the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to hold D as in dog, V as in Victor, and I want to move that pivot point right there. Okay. So now let's go ahead and scale this up so that it matches there. And then we're going to scale it over. And we'll come here with our proj cam. Let's put our overscan back to like 1. Come back in here, right click and go to face. And let's just move that straight over, and let's click on that and then take a look and see how that's looking. Okay, so it looks like we're a tad high on this side, so I'm going to right click and go to edge, and I'm just going to pull, actually that's not too bad. Looks like there might just be a little bit of brightness on top of that, so we'll kind of set that up right there. All right, cool. So let's go back to our proj cam, set this back to 0, tab 0, and tab 1. Cool. Okay, I'm going to turn off this grid now, just so we can get a sense of how things are going. And it looks like, if I'm seeing this correct, I might have missed one of these. So let's go to this first one, right click, go to vertex, grab all those vertices, hold V as in Victor, grab this arrow, and we're going to go sample like those points. And yeah, I think that looks better. Right click and go back to object mode. Okay, so technically we are a little lower than our ground plane, but that's okay. I mean, you just gotta kind of adjust things as you go on, and you just kind of make it work. Okay, so we now have that wall in here, so that's looking good. The next thing I think I want to do is I want to go ahead and get the correct shader on this wall back here. So let's go to our hypershade. And let's make this real big. The way we want to do this is I don't want to have to go through and set all that up again, right? So I just kind of want to do kind of like a copy type of thing. So what we're going to do is I'm going to click this ProjCam 1 shader, and with this selected, I'm going to go to File, or sorry, Edit, and let's go to down to Duplicate and Shading Network. And when we duplicate that, that's going to create an entire new shading network. And so let's call this one ProjCam 1 underscore backing underscore capital SHDR, and hit enter. Cool. So now let's go ahead and click on our wall, and then let's come in here, make sure we've got our wall selected. We're going to come to this ProjCam 1 backing shader. I'm going to right click and hold, and I'm going to go to Assign Material to Viewport Selection. All right, and when we do that, it's going to make a new shading group. Now, there's two different shading networks like on top of each other. So I'm going to click this one. I'm going to shift click that one. So click this, and then go shift click. Or the other thing you could do too, and this might be easier, is just come up here, click this one, and then shift click that one. And then with those two selected, we can click our double arrows, and it'll regraph both shaders. And so down here's the main shader, and then here's the shader backing. Okay, so let's now assign that new shader to this. So let's get the wall selected. And yeah, I think I already did that, but let's do it again. So I'm going to come here. I'm going to go to that backing shader. I'm right click and hold. Go up to Assign Material to Viewport Selection. Okay, and it's okay if we did that twice. Okay, the next thing we want to do now is we want to come over here for this backing one. We want to go to this DMP with statues, and we want to change this to be the one without statues. So I'm going to come over here. I'm going to click the folder, and now I'm going to go and select the one that says without statues. And so now when we look at this, we'll see we now have, if we see around these, we'll see that, oh, we can now see like those, but not like that doubling effect that we were getting. So now we'll have something. Turn off the grid in this view. We'll have something that is starting to look a little more 3D, and if we see around things, we're not going to get kind of like a doubling effect. Okay, so let's create our statues, and then we'll go back and start creating maybe a couple more buildings, and then create some cards, and then essentially we'll almost be done. We'll want to make some of our own water, some CGI water, but that won't be too hard.